Hello and welcome back to the Sports Lab podcast, episode number 26 tonight with my good buddy Alex Smiley. Alex, we get set for another week of the NFL weekend. Week 12, we are 2/3 through the season this week. That is disgusting to say, but it is very true. We're
Bills are
right here on the
cooking, so
cusp
it's
of the
great.
playoff picture. Yeah, of course. As we get set to go for this week, we have a ton of division rivalry matchups this week. 13
The
games.
13, I
Yeah.
was going to say. That's
Yeah, we
crazy. I
have
did not
Browns,
realize that.
Steelers that happen, Texans, Titans, Vikings, Bears, Commanders, Cowboys, Dolphins, Patriots, Raiders, Broncos, Seahawks, Cardinals, and seven. There's seven of the
Do
13 games. That's
Commanders,
still
Cowboys really count, though?
Yeah, right. At this point.
It's
Like beating up on a dead horse. But anyway,
like beating up on a dead
nonetheless,
cowboy.
yeah. And his horse.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
the Browns and Steelers game just happened last night. A 24-19 upset win as Nick Chubb sat on my bench as I just wanted to
started
cry
him.
myself. Oh, good job. 60-yard
Pacheco was
touchdown.
not playing again.
Yeah, don't remind me. But either way, though, Cleveland does get the job done against the Steelers. A 24-19 win in the snow at home. Really putting a detriment on that Steelers team right now after they just got a big statement win against Baltimore last week. The Browns have now won 2 games within the division this year, and it's against the 2 teams that they don't own. It's the team that they own that has beaten them so far, the Cincinnati Bengals. But
to be fair, the 2 times they won, like these teams was without Massage Watson. They lost to the Bengals with him, so that's probably the reason why. I think honestly, they probably would have beaten the Bengals if Winston started that game.
Oh yeah, for sure. The Bengals did not show up as they haven't really for most of the year. Sorry, Bengals fans. But anyway, moving into the Sunday slate, the first game we'll get to is the Texans and the Titans. Houston at home this week, trying to take down a Titans team that is just not looking good at all, especially on the offensive side. Do the Texans get a big win here to keep them going in that division, or do the Titans get a shocking upset on the road in Houston?
I actually think that they're going to be able to keep this game close. I really think Tennessee will. Houston's not been playing great. Tennessee and Will Levis have looked decent the last couple of weeks. But like not obviously they were losing, but they've kind of kept it close. And Houston, I understand they just killed the Cowboys, but that doesn't really count because of that whole debacle going on there. So honestly, I think that Tennessee can keep this game close, maybe a 3-point game, a touchdown game, but I don't have the balls to pick them to upset the Texans. The Texans with Nico are a much better offense. I think Nico and Joe Mixon just alone, even with CJ Stroud's sophomore slump, I think is going to be able to cook them. And I'm going to go with 23-17 Houston.
Yeah, my final score for this game is 24-17 in favor of the Houston Texans as well. I really think this game is going to be close. And normally for this Texans team, I would predict a blowout here most of the time I have. But with how they've been playing, especially near this second half of the season, really starting to get into that groove, which I called, by the way, because I told you it was kind of going to happen around week 8 to week 9. I literally told you that same week that it happened or whatever. But either way, I understand it's interesting. But still, for CJ Stroud and this Texans team, they haven't looked like themselves. I feel like they're a lot like the Vikings, where they just keep finding ways to win, even though they're playing like really, really bad football most weeks. And for that reason specifically, I think that this game is going to go much like the Vikings-Titans game did last week. That final score was 23-13 in favor of the Vikings. I think that could be very similar to what happens in this game. I think the only difference is being a division rivalry game. I think it's going to be a little bit closer than it was with the Vikings. So give me a 24-17 Houston win in this one. I think they get the job done at home and take down the rival Titans. As we move into the next game, the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings. Bears at home in the Windy City get set after a brutal loss last week to the Green Bay Packers, a blocked field goal that extends the Packers' win streak over them to 11 games. Do the Bears have a little bit better with the Vikings? Not really. They've lost 5 of their last 6 against the Vikings. Does that change this week? Or do the Vikings win on the road? Another barn burner. What do you think happens?
It does change this. It does change this week with my upset of the week. I am picking the Chicago Bears to win this game. It just screams trap game for the Vikings. They haven't been playing good. The Bears played better last week and lost on a heartbreaker. And they offense actually looked pretty decent without Shane Waldron. I knew he was probably the number one reason, but that and the offensive line were the big reasons why this Bears offenses look so bad. But he was the one that was easily fixable by firing him. I think that the new offensive coordinator, not even sure who it is, was actually utilizing the receivers. You saw DJ Moore and Rome Odunze combined for like 13 catches for 130 yards, I think. Not sure the exact numbers, but they both had decent games. Caleb Williams had over 300 yards from scrimmage. Unfortunately, we're not able to come away with the win, as they did have a blocked field goal to lose the game. But they played a Packers team that is pretty good. They played them pretty close, and that Packers team kind of just owns them. At least the Vikings, it's not as historically they own them as much. And at home, they're basically their playoff life's on the line. If they're only 4-6, if they win this, they're kind of right back in the hunt. If they lose this, they can just kiss the season goodbye. So because of that, I think they're playing for their season on the line. Matt Eberflus probably coaching for his job on the line, and I think they pull out the upset 20-17.
Yeah, I also have the Bears pulling off the upset of the week. I think they get the job done. It's not my upset of the week, though. We'll get to that eventually. However, my upset of the week will be shortly. This one is a big upset nonetheless. The Vikings are one of those teams where it's just they haven't looked great these last couple weeks, and I feel like they're due for a loss, and I feel like this is the week where it could really happen. I mean, you've got a Chicago Bears team that finally fired their offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron. Thomas Brown is their offensive coordinator right now. He's their new guy. So, realistically, though, we'll see.
Same initials, too, TB.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm not him, though, because very distinct differences between me and Thomas Brown.
I wonder.
Yeah. Moving on, though, I think that this Bears team is going to get the job done. They're, like you said, one game right here could put them right back in the hunt for that final wild card spot. That's going to be gritty and hard to get, considering the Commanders are the last team right now at 7-4. So realistically, they are going to be in a dogfight, and this is a game they can't afford to lose. I think that they're going to come out and give it everything they have. And with how bad the Vikings have been playing these last few weeks, I think this is the week that it finally catches up to them and they lose on the road in Chicago with the Bears' unfavorable schedule for the rest of the way. This might be their last win of the season. I think they're going to give it everything they have, and they're going to pull out a 21-17 game, the second straight game when we have a 1-point difference in score.
You think this is going to be you think the Bears are going to win this game and then lose out?
They play the Seahawks, the 49ers, the Packers, the Lions twice, and then someone else in between.
I think they could beat. I think they could beat all those teams except for the Lions.
I don't think that they beat the 49ers if the Niners are fighting for like their lives in the playoffs.
They could beat the Seahawks. The Seahawks lost to the Giants earlier in the year, so it's not like they're susceptible.
No, yeah, true. That's true. But I guess we'll see how that shapes up. I think that may be the only other one. But realistically, this could be their last game, or at least last good chance to win. They still have to play the Vikings, Packers again, and the Lions twice still, which is not going to be favorable. Either way, even if they win a couple of those games, if they lose both games to the Lions and they lose this game, they are going to be at 9 losses no matter what. So realistically, this is a do-or-die moment for them, and I think they get the job done. As we move into a game that I doubt we disagree on, the Commanders and the Cowboys. Cooper Rush, 3 starts in a row, maybe the last one considering all things that are happening right now around the league. Maybe, Trey Lance gets his first go here. We'll see what happens with that. As for this game specifically, though, do you have the Commanders pulling off a win at home over the Cowboys, or does Dallas get the job done and an upset win?
Give me the Cowboys to get blown out.
Yeah, exactly.
How about them Cowboys? Am I right? They're like the worst team in the league right now. I don't see them. They only have one chance of winning the rest of the season, and that's the Giants next week on Thanksgiving in a game I probably will just decide not to watch. I think maybe I'll paint something and watch it dry instead. It'll probably be more
I'd rather spend time with Aaron Rodgers' family. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I let me take some ayahuasca. I'd rather not watch that game. I'll go clean my house instead. I'll go do the dishes. I'll go fold some laundry. I'll go vacuum. I'll do that instead of watching this game. I'll go run a marathon instead of watching this game. There's not really many things I'd rather like. There's not many things that I'd like pick watching the Cowboys and Giants play over. Like that's going to be one of the worst things I've ever
No.
laid eyes on. It's probably going to be the biggest travesty to happen on Thanksgiving in world history, if I'm being
The
honest.
worst part is it's right during like dinner time too, which me and my family have a tradition of watching the football game while we eat. You know, I'm not
I
going
don't
to
even
have an
think I'm doing
appetite.
anything.
I'm
I'm
not
not
going to
even
have an
doing anything
appetite
for
if that's the
Thanksgiving
game
this
that
year.
I'm watching this year. So,
Yeah. I'm not even
unfortunately,
doing anything for Thanksgiving this year because my mom's going over to her boyfriend's family.
realistically,
So
I think the best football game on Thanksgiving is going to be my family tradition of going outside and playing flag football during the Bears and Lions halftime game.
oh, you do it at
So
halftime. I'm doing it in the morning with my friend. My
that's
friend, I
fire.
did it last year too. We go like by the local school by our house. We just go out in the field out back, and there's like me and my
Nice.
friend, or me and a couple of my
Yeah.
friends, and then like my friend's dad, and then like his friend or whatever. There's like a group of us, and we play football for a couple hours. I
We
joined it
have like a
last year.
big backyard. We have like a really big backyard. So
Yeah,
what
we
we'll
do it
do
at
is
like
like
9 in the morning.
normally what we do is we go outside and we like rake stuff in the morning and like we'll rake the leaves and put them like as end zones basically, like make leaves into
Ah,
big leaf
oh,
piles for the end
that's
zone.
that's
It's
cool.
kind of fun. It's cool, and it also gets like the leaves out of the way, which we always go out and like rake the leaves up anyway. So it
Yeah.
gives us a fun little twist to do that, and we really like it. But that's gonna be the best football game that's played on Thanksgiving is between me and my family. I'm gonna look more like a competent NFL quarterback than either of the quarterbacks playing in this game, but I guess
Yeah.
nonetheless, we'll see what happens. I think we can both just agree. Commanders win this football game. I'm going to go ahead and say 24-13. I know that sounds like a little closer than most people expect, but the one thing with this Commanders team right now that's been iffy is like they haven't really been doing much on offense these last few games. They've kind of been like, pooping the bed a little bit. I don't know what's going on with Jaden Daniels, but he hasn't looked that great, especially in the first half of the last couple games. I think that this is going to be decently close at halftime. The Commanders pull away in the second half and get a double-digit win nonetheless. I could definitely see 31 or something like that to like 6, but I'm going to go ahead and just say that the Cowboys get a little bit more fight against a team that they normally dominate. Like the last 2 games, they played 38-10 and 45-10 victories. So, I mean, those were with Dak, though. I think this is very different, and I think that maybe the Commanders do the exact opposite to them in this one. But moving on, we have the Dolphins and the Patriots. Watch out for the New England Patriots, man. For some reason, they just have the fire and just the heart, the dedication with Gerard Mayo. They've been playing very good football, kept it very close with the Rams last week, almost had a game-winning touchdown drive if Drake May didn't decide to throw his second losing interception on the last drive of the game of his rookie year. But nonetheless, I think this is going to be a fun one. Miami at home for this one, looking to get the season sweep over the Patriots. Does Tua remain undefeated against the Patriots, or does New England pull off a big upset on the road? What do you got, Alex?
Yeah, I think the Dolphins are going to win this game. The Patriots have been playing pretty decent football, but so have the Dolphins since Tua came back. I mean, they barely lost to
Watch
the
out for
Cardinals.
Miami.
Yeah, exactly. They barely lost to the Cardinals, who have been playing good. They barely lost to Austin. We're in the middle of like one of our hottest stretches of football of my lifetime. If I'm being
Right.
honest, like we've been playing lights out, and that's our only one. And since we lost since the Jets game, that's our only one score game was that game against Miami where we had a 61-yard field goal to win, and it was at home against a team we normally own. And then they go and beat the Rams, a mostly healthy Rams team. Then they go and beat the Raiders. Like they've been playing pretty good football, and I think they continue that. Their season's still on the line. Really, if they lose, like they can afford to maybe lose one more game the rest of the season if they want to make the playoffs, maybe 2. Like, and their
They
schedule
still play the
is
Packers, Texans, and Niners.
exactly. And it's not like the Patriots are the easiest team ever to beat because, yeah, with Drake May, that gives that offense some life. They've been playing better football, but
And
I
the
think the
Jets
Dolphins
always keep it close.
yeah, the Dolphins defense is really good right now, and I think they're going to be able to pull this one out. I'm going to go with 24-17. I just really like this Dolphins team right now. I hope they don't make the playoffs for the Bills' sake because I wouldn't want to play them in the playoffs. I'd much rather play like a Colts or Broncos team.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm going to go ahead and lean with you here again. I have the Dolphins winning this one 27-20. I think it's just going to be a lot like the Patriots-Rams game last week. Much like I said with the Titans and Vikings game last week for the Texans-Titans analogy. I just think that it's going to be one of those games that's just really close. It's 2 division rivals that are going at it. This is just going to be a fun football game to watch for these 2 teams. I think it's going to be right there at the end for New England, but I think that it's just the inexperience right now that's losing them these football games. And I mean, we saw that last week with Drake May. We saw it a couple weeks ago when he threw a game-losing interception as well. Just these late game drives right now that have really kind of put it away. And the one situation where they had a game-winning drive that they won was against the Jets, and they had Jacoby Brissett in there, who's a seasoned veteran. I think it's just saying something about Drake May's inability to finish these game-winning drives. And I don't think that's a detriment to Drake May. I think it's more so a detriment to just the inexperience of not only him, but this coaching staff, this team. They're all very young, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And I think the only way to really realistically get through that is by playing these close games. And I think they're going to have another one this week. But unfortunately, once again, I think they lose 27-20, a close football game. But give me Miami to get the job done. As we shift gears from all the rival matchups for just a moment to talk about a couple crap games probably. But the first of which is the Carolina Panthers and the Kansas City Chiefs. Panthers are 1-3 all-time at home against the Chiefs. Does that change this week? Do they lose another one or do they win another one? What happens in this one? Mahomes and the Chiefs upset after that Bills loss. Do they get some revenge on the Carolina Panthers this time? What do you think happens in this one?
Oh, I would love to see the Panthers win this game. That would just be awesome. Like, that would just be the greatest thing ever. And I mean, the Chiefs haven't played great football this year, even though they're 9-1. They found ways to win games, but they haven't been blowing teams out. And the Panthers have been playing much better and much more competitive football over these last couple of weeks. I mean, winning back-to-back games prior to their bye. Jonathan Brooks comes back, so that running back duo could be pretty good. I mean, I understand the Chiefs have a really good run defense, but the Panthers have a decent offensive line. And with Jonathan Brooks, I think it brings a little bit more explosion to that offense, where I think this game could be sneaky close, but I'm not picking the Panthers to beat the Chiefs. I'm just not doing that. I think 24-17 sounds like a good score again. I think this is maybe even a 2013. I could see like a 24-10 or 24-13, something like that, where the Chiefs score in the low 20s and the Carolina Panthers score in like the mid-teens and kind of keep this game close. But they're never really in it. The Chiefs kind of control the entire game. It would be awesome to see a Panthers upset, but I'm not an idiot. So give me Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Yeah, so like you mentioned, the Panthers have been playing better football these last couple weeks. They also got a bye week right before this, so they had an extra week of preparation. And the analytics say that the Panthers should win this game because Dave Canales has never lost after the bye week. He's also never won after the bye week, considering this is his first ever NFL coaching job.
I was what?
Yeah, no. So basically, I have the Chiefs winning too. But all I'm saying for the Panthers' sake, I'm building up the Panthers here because I have a 31-10 Chiefs win. One thing that everyone's been saying all season is the Chiefs haven't won these games by a lot. They've been right there with other teams. No matter who they play, it's going to be a close game, basically, is what everyone's saying. I think this is the week where the Chiefs are like, you know what? We're sick of it. We're sick of hearing all these things. We're going to go out and we're going to play our best football. And I think this is the week that they can do that against a terrible Carolina Panthers team. I think they will do that. I think they dominate this game thoroughly, 31-10 victory. And realistically, for this Kansas City Chiefs team, I think what I've been saying all season is this team's going to be a lot more dangerous after they lose a football game because they've been basically toying with everybody. Basically, like just willy-nilly just going through and playing. What's up?
Breaking news in the MLB. Jonathan India just got traded to the Royals.
Ooh.
Jonathan India and Joey Weimer to the Royals for Brady Singer.
Ooh. Pitcher.
Yeah. I understand we're not talking about MLB right now, but just breaking news. We'll go over that in a little bit. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, no. Either way, though, like I was saying, the Chiefs just haven't won these games by a lot of points. They've been toying with teams, and I feel like that's what everyone's been saying. Like Travis Kelce, he hasn't really gotten involved. Mahomes hasn't been playing his best football. They haven't been doing that great, but they've been winning these games. I think what they had to do to get better was to lose a game and realize, hey, we can't do this anymore because now we're starting to lose games. We have to, get back to the brand of football that we know we can play at, and exactly all it would take, in my opinion, is a loss, especially to a team like Buffalo, who they know so well. And I think that's going to be something that they come out here this week, and they're going to dominate for 4 quarters, and they're going to put it to the Panthers 24-7. Give them a 31-10 win in this game, 24-7 as in like all day, but I didn't mean that's the score. 31-10, Chiefs win. As we move on to the Giants and the Bucks, Tommy DeVito is starting at quarterback. Daniel Jones released after being the scout team safety last Thursday on practice.
Oh, that
so,
still cracks me up. That cracks me up so much.
It's so sad for Jones how he's going out, unfortunately. I think it's just another one of those cases as similar to Shane Waldron, where he's a good guy. He's just bad at what he does. And I think that's just what it is. And
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't blame Daniel Jones. The Giants were just idiots for taking him with the 6th overall pick and giving him that contract. It's not his fault that they overvalued the shit out of him.
Yeah, that's true.
He was never really that good of a quarterback anyways.
Taking him that high, because if you take him that high, then everyone's going to expect so many more things out of him, and that just puts too much pressure on a quarterback like that.
He just wasn't that good to begin with
and develop. And realistically, because of that, it ended up working out in favor of no one. Unfortunately for them, as we move into this game, you got the Bucs this week, man, and I understand it's a quarterback shift. Does the quarterback shift work at home? Do you get a win against Tampa Bay, or do the Bucs just dominate and win another football game?
See, I don't think the Bucs dominate. Tommy DeVito seems like one of those guys that's going to just be a career very good backup, where he can come in for like 2 or 3 games and play well, and then teams figure him out, and he's not that good anymore. I mean, he kind of did it last year. I think he can have a pretty decent game against this Bucs secondary that is just flat out bad. It's not a very good secondary. Basically, they've been getting dotted up by everyone this year. And I think Tommy DeVito could have a decent game. But at the same time, Baker Mayfield's been cooking this year, and I think he continues to cook. The Giants are basically, they already know the season's over. They're probably not going to come out like kind of be depleted, if we're being honest. That's kind of how teams that are out of the playoffs at the end of the season are. They're just kind of depleted and don't really play for much. And I kind of see the Bucs in a high-scoring game winning this game. I'll go with 28-23, I guess. Yeah, 28-23, sure. Let's be a little spicy.
Yeah, I have the Giants losing this one 28-13. I think, yes, while this Bucs secondary is pretty lackluster, so is the Giants' offensive line. And when they have to go up against a guy like Vita Vea in this game, I don't think that Tommy DeVito is going to get enough time in the pocket to make any use out of the terrible secondary that is the Bucs secondary. So because of that, I think that they still get points. I think they get together some really good drives. I just feel like they're going to get, like, it's going to be things like a penalty happens or something and they just can't recover, or it's going to be like a timely sack for the Bucs defense to force them to 3 a couple times. I think that they do drive down the field a few drives in this game and get some good points, but at the end of the day, I think that they get dominated in the trenches, which is going to lose them this game by a lot. 28-13, Bucs win on the road in MetLife as we move into another game. And this, a lot of people are saying is going to be pretty close, and I can definitely see it. We have the Lions and the Colts up next. Colts fighting for the final wild card in the AFC, 1 game back of the Denver Broncos. As for the Detroit Lions, they are the number 1 seed in the NFC. They can afford to drop a game technically right now, considering the only other team near them in the standings being the Eagles could also
lose
Vikings,
their game.
And the Vikings, who they've beat already. We'll see how they go about those kinds of games. But we have the Lions and the Colts. Who do you have winning this one? It's in Lucas Oil Stadium. Richardson coming off a career game last week. Does he follow it up with the biggest upset of the season potentially in this one?
See, I think Anthony Richardson is going to have a pretty good game. I just don't think the Colts defense will be able to get they might not get a single stop against this Lions offense. I mean, the Lions offense has just been running it up on everyone. I think they score just a lot of points, and I don't think Anthony Richardson's going to be able to keep up, because the way the Colts offense works is run the ball first and then set up the pass. Against the Lions, the way you have to beat them is you have to be able to dot them up. You're not going to be able to run the ball on them that much because their D-line and their run defense is just so good. And I could see that kind of being an issue for them. But Anthony Richardson is playing a lot better. I can see him just make some big plays out there, make some really timely throws, and put some decent points up on the board. But at the end of the day, I'm going to go 38-21 Lions, or 38-24 Lions. I think this is just going to be a lot of points. I just don't see the Colts getting many stops at all. I could realistically see the Lions score another 40 or 50 like they already have a couple of times this year. I'm just not going to predict that because, it's not like, yeah.
I have a 38-17 final for this game. I think that the Lions dominate for most of this one. I think Richardson has a good game. And if I'm being honest, I think this is going to be a lot. Again, I understand I keep going back to other games, but I do think that this is going to be very similar to how that Lions and Titans game played out, where in the first half, the Titans were right there. They were tied at 14, and the Lions just started pulling away and dominating. I think that's what's going to happen in this one, and I think it's going to be a timely game for Detroit. And I understand that the Colts are only 5-6, but I think this is a statement win for the Lions if they beat them by like 20 points. If they beat them by 20 points, the Colts are not only fighting for their season, but they're having a resurgence from Anthony Richardson as well. So if Richardson plays really good in this game and the Lions still dominate and win by like 20 plus points, I don't know how you think anybody in the NFL is better than the Lions at that point. I still don't think there is, but right now, I think the Lions, until proven innocent or like whatever, until proven to be not a good team, until they kind of mess up, I think that they're going to have to go ahead and be the best team right now. I see you holding up the Bills sweatshirt.
No, I
think they're a good team.
The Lions are better, right? No, the Lions are better.
But
I just wanted
the Lions
to say
are just
that.
insane. I think the Lions get this one done, though. 38-17, a big win on the road in Lucas Oil Stadium. Moving on to another, back to our regularly scheduled program, I guess, if you will. Back to the division rivalry games. This one, the Raiders and the Broncos in Las Vegas. Do the Raiders get the job done at home and stun the Broncos, who are vying for a playoff spot? As I see you shaking your head already. Or does Bo Nix have another good game? Who knows?
Bo Nix doesn't have to have another good game. He has to score like 10 points and he probably wins this game. When I was talking earlier about like teams, when they get to that bad record, they just kind of give up on the season. That's basically the Raiders at this point. They're not very good. They probably gave up on the season a long time ago. They just don't really have a lot to look forward to. Besides, basically they have two things to look forward to in that offense or on that team: Brock Bowers and Max Crosby. Brock Bowers, who I think should be the rookie of the year. Personally, I think what he's doing is more impressive than Jayden Daniels or Bo Nix. So I would give it to Brock Bowers right now. I think he's on pace to crush rookie tight end records. He's on pace to like have one of the greatest just tight end receiving seasons ever of all time as a rookie. I think it's much more impressive than Bo Nix and Jayden Daniels, who are just playing decent, all right, goodish football right now. They're not doing anything. It's not like last year, whereas Puka is historic, but also with CJ Stroud. Like Brock Bowers is being historic, but like Jayden Daniels and Bo Nix are just being good rookie quarterbacks. Personally, I think it should be Bowers, but they don't really have anything else to look forward to on that offense besides Brock Bowers. Gardner Minshew is a good backup, but when he's a starter, it's not good. That O-line, it's got some pieces, not great. Running backs suck. Receivers outside of Jacoby Myers suck. The defensive front seven outside of Max Crosby, because Christian Wilkins is injured, sucks. The secondary outside of I forgot they have like a couple of decent corners. No, Merrick's not even. He's not great in coverage. I mean, I guess you could say he's all right, but no, they have a couple of good corners. My Raiders fan, maybe Nate Hobbs is a good slot, but they have an outside guy. I forgot his name, but my Raiders friend, or my friend that's a Raiders fan, has been like talking him up all year and has like shown me like some of his like stats and stuff, and he has actually like some really good stats. I just can't remember his name, so he's been good, but they just don't have a lot, if we're being honest. And the Broncos defense is stifling. Bo Nix has been playing good football. He's been playing really good within the system, making accurate throws, getting the ball out quick, and letting playmakers do the work. And it's been working. They've been winning games, and I think they continue here. They already dominated them once, and that was when the Raiders still had life. They have no life anymore. They're probably going to dominate them again. I'll go 27-10, I guess. Not going to be a close game at all.
I think that one thing about this game that really scares me on Denver's end is normally after having a good game, they follow it up with a dud. And in this kind of a situation, I think that they can. It's a division rival matchup. You're on the road in Las Vegas for this game as well. Those are two things that are really important for this game, in my opinion. However, I cannot bet against Denver right now with how they've kind of played, especially after dominating the Falcons last week. That was just very impressive, in my opinion. As much as Bo Nix has been inconsistent, that was by far his best game of his career so far. Very good game. But, I mean, it's the Raiders team right now that's reeling. And one thing about this Raiders team is, yes, I understand their season's over, and a lot of teams give up on the season. But if you look at the Raiders last year, when they were at this point in the season, they didn't give up. They almost ended up coming back and making a playoff spot at the end of the year last year.
That was also a coaching change that made that happen, too.
Yeah, I mean, that same coaching change that happened, that same guy is literally the coach right now in
Yeah,
Antonio
but
Pierce.
like it's different than him already being there. You already know
No,
the new head coach effect.
yeah, exactly. But at the same time, I think that there's still a little bit there for this Raiders team. I think there's a little bit fight left, at least at this point in the season. I think when we get to week 14, week 15, I think there's going to be no fight left. Yeah, but right now, I still think there's a tiny little bit of fight left in this team, wanting to at least prove that they can do something. And they're playing against a team right now in Denver where they've played better than expectations. They've been doing this, they've been doing that. Look at our flashy rookie quarterback. Look at how good Sean Payton's been coaching. Look at how much we beat the Falcons by last week. I feel like this is just the ultimate trap game, much like that Packers-Bears game was. However, I do have the Broncos winning 24-20. I think it's close. Raiders get a chance at the end that they mess up somehow. But
It's the
I think
Raiders.
that I have to lean with the Raiders to lose this game. As much as I'd really like to pick them, I just want to throw it out there that I think they're going to be in it for most of this game and maybe winning it at the end of the season. At the end of the game, pardon. We'll see how it goes. But moving into the next game, potentially one of the games of the week, the Seahawks and the Cardinals in a battle for first place in the NFC West. The winner of this game will be the 1 seed no matter what happens with the Rams game and the 49ers game, even if both of those two teams find a way to win against their opponents, who are not easy. But either way, if they do find a way to win those games, then either way, doesn't matter. If the Cardinals or Seahawks win this game, they will be first place in the division. Who do you have winning this one? Arizona on the road against Seattle. They played worse on the road this year. Do they get the job done this week against a division rival, Seattle Seahawks, and hold on to first place in their division?
See, I want to pick the Seahawks to win this game. But I just think the Cardinals are the better team. They're playing better football. They're coming off the bye, so they have more to prepare for. And I bet against the Cardinals too much earlier in the season. It's kind of bit me in the ass. I mean, these last two games, they've outscored their opponents 60-18. They've on a 4-game win streak where they've beaten the Chargers, who have looked really good since, the Dolphins, who have looked really good since, and then they dominated the Bears and the Jets. Like, they have been winning a lot of really good games, and some of them on the road. They went into Miami and won, so like it's not like they can't win on the road. They do play a lot better at home. The Seahawks are just so inconsistent. They give you like one good game and then one bad game. Like, they dominated the Falcons, then they got blown out by us. Then they lost to the Rams. Then they beat the 49ers. And then it's just very inconsistent play out of them. They keep it. They lose to the Giants.
I'm not going to lie to you. If Brock Purdy doesn't get injured in that fourth quarter, the 49ers most definitely still win that game.
Oh, I didn't know he got injured in the fourth quarter. I don't know. That's why they lost.
Yeah, that's
wasn't how watching. Out. Yeah. Well, I figured he got injured. I just didn't know it was during the game. I wasn't watching it at all. I was at the Bills game. Yeah.
Right.
But anyways, yeah, I had to bring that up. Anyways, the Seahawks are just so inconsistent. The Cardinals have been playing some of the best football in the league lately. So I think they're going to win this game. I think they're going to keep it close because the way you beat the Cardinals is being able to run the ball. And even though the Seahawks aren't great at running the ball, they do have one of the best running backs in the league, and Kenneth Walker. I think they just try to rely on him, give him a lot of touches, and I think he has a pretty good game. And I think he kind of keeps the Cardinals' electric offense off the field. But I think the Cardinals end up getting this game 27-24.
Yeah, I have the Cardinals winning as well, a 21-17 road win for Arizona. Two big things I looked at here. Yes, they haven't been that great on the road, but they had the bye week, which is a very pivotal thing in the NFL. Getting an extra week to prepare for this game against an inconsistent Seahawks team is very important. And on top of that, like I just mentioned, the inconsistency of this Seattle Seahawks team have not been able to string together wins at all this year, except for their first 3 games, which were against Denver Broncos team in week 1. Without Tua, Miami Dolphins, and the Patriots with Jacoby Brissett in week 2, which they won in overtime. So realistically, those are the only 3 games they've won in a row so far this year. Don't think it happens again this week. I think they continue to just be a very inconsistent football team. I'm going to have to go ahead and lean with the Arizona Cardinals to get the job done. A 21-17 win on the road, putting them firmly in front of the other teams in that division, especially considering the schedules that are coming up, which as we turn it into these next 2 games, it is the Packers and the 49ers. The 49ers are without starting quarterback Brock Purdy. It will be Braylon Allen, of all people, starting at quarterback for the 49ers in this football game. Not what you want to see if you're a 49ers fan. As also on the defensive side of the ball, Nick Bosa is out with an oblique injury as well. So arguably the two most important players on the team, considering Brock Purdy's the quarterback, like obviously not literally the most important players, but definitely the most important position. And then the most important player on your team, 1A and 1B with McCaffrey, is Nick Bosa, and he's out as well. What do you think about this game? Who do you have winning this one coming into this week?
Did you mean to say Brandon Allen?
Yeah, Brandon Allen.
It doesn't matter.
Braylon Allen, yeah, they traded for the Jets running back. He's going to be a quarterback.
Yeah, they're going to start him, yeah.
Just having him do the Wildcat all game with CMC would probably be better.
Why am I blanking on who was Brandon Allen played for before this? I got a mix up with Kyle Allen and thought it was him.
No, it's Brandon Allen. He's played for the Bengals.
Oh, he was on. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was thinking of Kyle Allen because I was going to make like the reference that he's Josh Allen's cousin, but no, he's not. And he's trash.
Yeah, no, he's not.
Yeah, and he's not good.
In fact, Brandon Allen, Kyle Allen, and Josh Allen all went to the same mini camp in California.
So, well, I figured if Josh or Kyle was there, the other one would be there since they're cousins. But yeah, the Packers winning this game. If Brock Purdy was starting, I actually had the Niners winning this game. And on the radio, I said that yesterday. I'm flipping on that because even though I don't think Brock Purdy's like a top 10 quarterback or anything, he's still very decent, very good quarterback, plays very well within that system. And he is the starter for a reason. He's better than their backup, and they've been struggling with him in there anyways. Like, I just don't see I don't see Brandon Allen being able to do that much. As Christian McCaffrey is still not 100%. He hasn't had 2 great games. And this receiving core has kind of been iffy. Debo hasn't been great. I mean, Juwan Jennings has been good, but Brandon Ayuk's injured. Ricky Pearsall's a rookie. Really, the only consistent player on this entire offense is George Kittle. I mean, like, I get that. And then the defense hasn't played great either. They've allowed, I think, like 3 or 4 game-winning drives now. Like, Nick Bosa's not having, like, any insane season. The D-line in general outside of him isn't great. Linebacker next to Fred Warner hasn't been good. Secondary as a whole hasn't been great. Like, the defense is, Dre Greenlaw doesn't look the same after that injury. And just overall, this defense has been, while not bad, a little underwhelming, and so is the offense. Just both sides of the ball just kind of been a little, it's like they have a Super Bowl hangover is what it is. And now without Brock Purdy against a Packers team that's playing for like seeding, like they have a lot to play for. And like if they lose, they could move down to the 7th seed, but if they win, they could keep fighting their way up for a 5th seed. They're still not technically out of the division race. They have a chance, I guess, if the Lions and Vikings start losing, but like, I understand the Packers haven't been playing great football, but neither of the Niners, and the Packers at least have their starting quarterback. So I'm going to go with the Packers to win this game 24-14.
So before this, we kind of talked about it, how we both picked the 49ers to win this football game before the injury, and you're reverting to the Green Bay Packers now because of that. I'm going to fucking stay with the Niners in this game. And listen, hear me out. I looked up a couple things when you were talking.
No, I'm not going to hear you out. I'm taking the AirPods out. I'm just not listening.
Wow. Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
So, guys, Alex is just actually anyway. Hey, Alex, how we doing? Anyway, 2 big stats here. Right now, the Green Bay Packers have allowed the 7th most rushing yards in the league to running backs this year. They are facing.
Well, that's usually where rushing yards come from.
Okay. Anyway, and then on top of that, and you know what? This is actually a more intriguing stat. Right now, to running backs, they allow the 3rd most receiving yards to running backs this season, behind only the Panthers, Cardinals, and Giants right now. Thank you, Saquon Barkley, for that. Okay, whatever. 4.
I just want to be a dickhead. And Jaire Alexander and Edgerrin Cooper are out for the Packers. We'll note that.
Yes, so here's the thing, though, is on top of that, Marshawn Lloyd, one of their best run stoppers this year, the rookie out of A&M, he's on Edgerrin Cooper.
Not Marshawn Lloyd. Yeah, that's Edgerrin Cooper. Marshawn Lloyd's the running back.
No, Edgerrin Cooper's out.
That's
Adrian,
that's what I
he's
said.
out. No. Yeah,
I know.
He's
Edrin
out.
Cooper and Jerry Alexander are ruled out.
Oh shit, yeah. But I'm basically touching on. Okay, whatever. I'm sorry. I'm going in
No, it's
shambles
fun.
now. But
I'm
either
just
way,
trolling you. It's funny.
here's the thing. Here's the thing for the 49ers, though. I don't think they're going to need a big game out of Brandon Allen. I think that most of this game is going to run through CMC. Not. And here's the deal. This Packers defense is beat up right now. They're coming off of two pretty bad games, to be honest with you. These last couple games for the Packers have not been great, including almost losing to the Chicago Bears last week on a blocked field goal. They won. Realistically, what happened last week with the Chiefs? Blocked field goal, and then they lost to the Bills. I understand the Bills are a lot different than the 49ers. I get that. But here's the thing. The principle stands the same.
Wrong Allen.
Because the Bills, yeah, right. But the Bills beat the Chiefs in the regular season all the time. And who owns the Packers? The 49ers own the Packers. I don't care if it's regular season.
It isn't Lambeau, though.
Yeah, true. But one thing is for this game is I think it's going to be really close because of CMC. I think he's finally going to come back, and he's finally going to play his best football when they need him most, which is right now. And this is a must-win game for the 49ers, in my opinion, because they still have to play the Bills and the Lions on their schedule this year. With this loss, they'd be 5-6. If they lose to the Lions and the Bills, they'd be 9-8 at best to close out the year. And they still have to play the Cardinals in Week 18, and the Seahawks again, who they just lost to, and the Rams again, who they lost to. And for the first time since 2017, the 49ers lost to all three of their division opponents. For the first time since 2017. So this is just not the year for the 49ers.
Oh, so I was going to say they didn't lose to all three in 2019, but I forgot that the Cardinals were even worse than them.
Yeah, the Cardinals were even worse than games. So that's the thing is for this 49ers team, this is a must. Like this is just one of those games for me that I feel like they have to win. And Christian McCaffrey is going to carry them to that win. A 27-24 victory for the 49ers. If it happens, then I'd be the GOAT of predictions, I guess. If it doesn't happen, then I'm just stupid for not switching my pick. Either way, we're going to have either a really smart Thomas or a really dumb Thomas next week. So make sure you stay tuned for next week's episode for that reason. But as we move into the final two games. Yeah, right. We move into the final two games here. It is the Rams and the Eagles on Sunday Night Football in SoFi Stadium. Do the Rams pull off a big upset, or do the Eagles get the job done on the road? What do you have happening in this one, Alex?
This is the battle of my two favorite NFC teams, or two of my three. My favorite NFC team right now, the LA Rams, because I love Matt Stafford. He's my second favorite quarterback in the league. That man is just amazing. That man cooks. Him throwing to Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, that just gets me going. Nothing will ever that Josh Allen could murder a family, and I would say you're fine. I would. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, obviously, but you know what I mean. He can do no wrong in my eyes.
O.J. Simpson.
He could O.J. Simpson, and I just say he didn't do it.
The glove didn't fit.
Yeah.
They're gonna use his glove that he's been having on his throwing hand since week 1. It's gonna be that glove.
No. Josh Allen could do it. Well, yeah, all joking aside, no, I do love Matt Stafford, Frat Stafford, however you want to say it. I just really like this Rams team, and I really want them to win. I'm rooting for them just because I want them to make the playoffs, and this is a game they really need to win if they want to or they have to win this or probably win out if they lose this game. And I would love them to win this game, and I could see them winning this game because with Matt Stafford, with Sean McVay, and a healthy offense, they don't lose too many games when they're healthy, and they are healthy. The issue is this Eagles team has been playing lights out football. I know no Devontae Smith, but they still have Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, and obviously Saquon Barkley, who is my pick for Offensive Player of the Year right now. And then this defense has been playing like a top 3 to 5 unit all year, especially this last month where it's playing like arguably the best in football. Jalen Carter, Quinyon Mitchell, Zach Bond. They have players on all 3 levels that have just been absolutely lights out. And at the end of the day, I'm just going to pick the more complete team. Even though the Rams clearly have the edge at coaching, and I think they have the edge at quarterback, which normally is enough for me to pick it. The Eagles are just such a talented team. And I'm pretty sure they're at home, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Rams
Oh
are.
they're
The
not
Rams
at
are.
home. But either way, it's not like the Rams have a huge fan base. It's kind of like the Chargers. SoFi, that's like a lot. You get a lot at the other team, even though it's across the country. But still, I think the Eagles still win this game. I'll go with a score of 24-21. I think this is going to be a close game, a really good game. I could even see like a 27-24. I just think that even the Rams defense has been playing a little bit better. So I don't, especially without Devontae Smith, I don't see the Eagles offense going off, but I see them doing enough to win this game.
Yeah, so I have the Rams winning this football game. I think this is going to be a very fun football game, very close back and forth. But for Philadelphia right now, there's just something off about the Eagles. This may just be the overthinker in my brain, but it's going way too well for the Eagles right now for this to be another game where they just dominate and win. It's been going way too good for them. They just got a big win against the division rival Commanders team. They have 2 games up in the division. They're second place in the NFC. Something's got to go wrong. Something has to. And this is
Nick
the perfect
Sirianni's their head coach.
week.
That's what went wrong.
I think that what's going to happen in this game is it's going to be back and forth. It's going to be right down to the end. And teams that win these games are the home team or the team with the better coach. And in this situation, the Rams have the advantage in both of those, being at home and having the better coach, in my opinion, by a mile, and Sean McVay. So realistically, I think the Rams get this one done 31-24. I think it's a very good game, but I think that Philadelphia's fun little stretch is going to end right here.
Oh, you think the Rams can drop 31 on this Eagles defense? Interesting.
I think that if there's any team that's going to do it, it's going to be them, for the simple fact that the Eagles secondary is just something that it scares me. Every single week, I wonder when they're going to finally give up 500 yards and like 3 touchdowns at least.
I'm surprised with how good they've been playing. I'm surprised.
Oh, yeah. See, that's the thing. I
could see it because Puka and Kupp are – I could see it. Definitely not out of like the realm of possibilities. Not like, oh, you're crazy for thinking that'll happen. Like I could definitely see it. It's just with how good they've been
with
playing.
Matthew Stafford, he's one of the more accurate quarterbacks in the league. I think he's probably top 5 in accuracy, just not in stats.
He's a legitimate gunslinger.
In general, he's just one of those guys that I view as like one of the better.
He can make every single throw on the field. Yeah,
exactly. And because of that, I feel like in this kind of a game, you're going to need a seasoned veteran to beat a team like the Eagles right now. Because while the secondary is so good. Matchup?
Cooper DeJean or Cooper Kupp? Who's winning the white boy matchup? Cooper DeJean or Cooper Kupp?
The Coopers. The white Coopers.
Yeah, the white Coopers.
I think Kupp wins that. I think Kupp would win that all day. Yeah, I hope so for my fantasy team. But
me too.
Moving into the final game of the week, thank you to the SoFi Stadium staff for this one, considering they're going to have to work a night shift because the Chargers are at home on Monday night. Literally,
paid a lot of money.
24 hours.
They're probably getting paid a lot of money in free tickets, so like it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, right. So the Chargers and the Ravens on Monday Night Football, in my opinion, the best Monday Night Football game we've gotten so far this year.
Week 3 Bills Jags.
Anyway.
Week 3 Bills Jags.
No, you're not beating that, but still.
I mean, Bengals Commanders was
overall,
actually a really good game.
Standpoint, this is going to be such a good game.
Yeah,
we were just talking about how in our last video on Tuesday that this could be a potential first-round matchup between the Ravens and the Chargers. That's what I had. I don't know if that's what you had. I think you had the Chargers and someone else. Steelers, I think it was.
Yeah, the Chargers.
But it's the Harbaugh Bowl, Jim versus John. What do you think happens in this game? Do you think the Ravens get a timely win after losing last week, or do the Chargers keep rolling? It's a team that's been rolling and a team that's kind of falling apart. Which team gets this one done? As the Ravens, with a really good opening here to potentially come back and take first place in a couple weeks.
Yeah. I don't know, Jim. I don't know. I don't know that they can win this game. Monday night, Lamar Jackson is another animal. As much as I like to shit on Lamar, because I just don't think he's better than Josh, and I don't really think it's particularly close at times. Lamar Jackson on Monday Night Football is a beast. He's shown it this year. He's shown it in years past. I understand this Charger defense has been great, but we saw that they're vulnerable. The Bengals were just able to hang 27 on them, and the Ravens offense is just as good as the Bengals. Maybe not as much passing. They're not as good as a passing offense, obviously, because it's like Joe Burrow throwing to Jamar and T. Higgins. But Lamar's been playing really good this year. He just had a bad week. If he wants to win MVP, he's going to have a good week here, because if he has another bad week and they lose this game and they go to 7-5, unless Josh falls off the cliff, it probably just throws him right out of the MVP race, if we're being honest, because it really weakens their chance of winning the division. And how often do you see a quarterback win MVP without even winning their own division? Like, it's pretty rare that you see that. And like, yeah, I have a feeling that if Lamar doesn't have a great game and they lose this, it's probably going to be just Josh is probably going to start slowly running away with the award. So I hope that happens. I really do. But anyways, I'm not picking that to happen. I think you don't want Josh to get an MVP?
No, because MVPs don't win Super Bowls most of the time.
2022?
Yeah, once.
2022. Yeah.
Once in the last 20 years.
It could happen again.
Yeah, no, it's not
that's because usually these teams just overly rely on the quarterbacks and they put up these crazy stats. Obviously, our team, the Bills, run through Josh Allen. Josh Allen's our team. And I think he deserves MVP, but I don't think we, at least this much this year, I don't think we've overly relied on him because we have a good run game and because of our scheme, where I feel like it's not going to and also a lot of times it's bad defenses with just amazing quarterback play. When our defense is healthy, I think it's a top 7-ish unit in the league, top 5 to 7. And now that we don't have Leslie Frazier calling plays, I could see it actually play well in the playoffs if healthy, unlike last year. Which is last year our defense didn't play good, but we had AJ Klein trying to cover people.
Travis Kelce is one of those people.
Exactly. That's not really fair. It doesn't matter if you who's calling plays for you. If AJ Klein and Tyrell Dodson are your linebackers, you're probably not winning games in the playoffs.
Yeah,
So because of that, I feel like this is like a little bit different. And also Josh always shows that he plays absolutely elite in the playoffs. So I feel like it's one of those where I want Josh to win MVP. So at least if we don't make the Super Bowl, we can be like, hey, at least Josh won MVP. And then I can push more narratives online on why he's better than Lamar Jackson. Because I love pushing online narratives.
My God.
I need some more.
Especially
I need some more ammo in my pocket when I get in debates with morons. So I can prove them wrong and prove why they're morons, because it's fun to do. So I need that Josh MVP. So they keep 2 MVPs to 0. It's like, fuck you. Sorry for getting on that rant, but I do think the Ravens win this game 27-23. It's just going to be an absolutely great game. Herbert, I think, is going to have another really good game because the Ravens have a good run defense, but their pass defense is awful. They can't really cover tight ends, and I think Herbert's been loving Will Dissly lately, so I could see him have a good game. McConkey's really coming into his own. Quentin Johnson's been playing better, so I think like that trio with Herbert throwing, I think is enough for him. Actually, I'll go 27-24. I think 3 touchdowns and a field goal. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to be like a 24-24, and Lamar is going to lead him down for a field goal. I think it's whoever has the ball last wins this game, and I think it ultimately is going to be the Ravens.
Yeah, I have the 27-21 score prediction in favor of Baltimore. I think this is going to be a very good football game, but the issue is right now with the Ravens over the Chargers is one of these teams is really, really very much so experienced in these situations, and one of these teams is not. Also, Lamar Jackson on Monday Night Football is just insane. I think that this is just one of those games right now for the Chargers where I really thought they were going to lose last week to Cincinnati, and I pushed that narrative all week. I thought that it was finally time for the Chargers to just fall back to earth, and I think this will be the week that it actually does happen.
You were
a team
wrong.
in Baltimore that really needs a win.
I was
Baltimore
not.
really, really needs a win, and I think that they get this job done 27-21 on the road in LA as they improve to 8-4 on the season. Moving in to some college football, I guess I'll kick it to you to start the discussion. The Florida Gators at the Swamp. We're hoping to take down number 9 ranked Ole Miss. Can they do it, Alex? What do you think happens in this football game?
I don't think we win this game. I would love us to. We've been playing great football. DJ Lagway's been playing like one of the best freshmen in the country. I'm really excited for these upcoming seasons with him because it looks like he's here to stay with Billy Napier staying, and Billy Napier is a big reason why he chose to come here. And with him having some good success down, I think he's here to stay for the long run. He's made every indication that he's going to be staying. So I'm excited for the future. But this season alone, I mean, there's not really now. I mean, I guess they're still playing to like try and make a bowl game, but that opportunity is next week against Florida State. Really, there's not honestly that much to play for here, other than the fact that they can just say they pulled off an upset. It's kind of playing spoilers, because if they beat Ole Miss's season's practically done, because they don't care about making a bowl game. They care about making the playoff. And a 3-loss team basically knocks them out of the SEC championship race, because both of their losses so far are SEC losses, and also 3 losses with only one really good win. They're donezo if they lose this game. But I just don't see that happening. I think they're a much better and much more talented team than LSU. I think Jackson Dart's a better quarterback, and then that D line is just at Walter Nolan, who is one of my favorite prospects for the Bills to draft in this upcoming class, as I've been talking about that for a while. I really like him. He's a stud. And Princely, however the fuck you say that name, that duo right there.
I'm sorry.
I a lot of mock drafts I've been seeing / doing, he does fall to us, but that just might be wishful thinking. Or we could also trade up to get him because we have the draft picks. Like, I don't want us to, the amount of draft picks we have right now, I don't want us to make that many draft picks, because we don't have that many holes on the team. We just don't have enough. We'll be cutting some of them, so it makes no sense. You might as well trade them. But that's besides the point. I just think Ole Miss is just way more talented and better coached. I think that Lane Kiffin's a better coach than Brian Kelly. So I think Florida keeps this game close. I really think it's going to be like I'll go 27-20 Ole Miss. I think DJ Lagway does enough to keep him in the game, but at the end of the day, it's just going to be too much.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say 27-17. I think Ole Miss just barely scrapes to a 2-possession win in this football game. I think they're probably going to have the ball late and force Florida to probably call their timeouts and kick a field goal to go up by 2 possessions right near the end of the game. But I think Florida keeps this one close. I mean, last week I thought they were going to lose to LSU, and they definitely proved me wrong that week, as did you. But I do think that Florida is just – they're missing a couple things on that defense to where I really think that they could win this football game. And the offensive line has been kind of shaky at times as well. So this is
been playing better, game. But yeah, it's been shaky.
I mean, against Walter Nolan, though, it's just you got to play flawless at that point. And realistically, I think that whoever your starting guard / center, whoever's guarding him, is going to be a turnstile in this game. I think we'll see what happens.
Our center's actually been like our best offensive lineman. He's been cooking lately, but still, against Walter Nolan,
I think they get this one done 27-17. They do just enough to scrape past them with a 2-possession win. Look out for Florida next season, potentially, considering this was just such a brutal schedule for you guys more than anything.
I think next year we're playoff contenders, and I think in 2 years we're legitimate. If everything goes on trajectory it's looking right now, I think next year we're going to be playoff contenders, and I think the year after that we're going to be legitimate national championship contenders, because Lagway's a true freshman, so we get him for 2 more years.
At least.
At least 2 more years. I think if he continues to cook, I think we have him for 2 more years and he goes to the draft. But
because if he's like a first-round mock in everywhere.
Yeah. And ESPN has Lagway ranked as the 7th best true freshman in the nation right now. I mean, the top 3 are kind of untouchable.
What do they have Nico at?
Nico's not a true freshman. He's a redshirt.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Yeah, you're
true
right.
True freshman. Yeah. The top 3 are kind of untouchable with Jeremiah Smith, Ryan Williams, and Dylan Stewart. Oh, yeah. But then after that, they have him at 7, so I think that's pretty cool.
That's not bad. Moving into the potential game of the week, Ohio State ranked number 2 versus number 5 Indiana. A big test for the Hoosiers in this game, as yes, they are undefeated right now. They are the number 5 ranked team, but who have they beaten? No one. Here is their test. A team against Ohio State that they really, really need to keep at least close in order to really show that they can do something for a playoff spot, considering that would mean no matter what, we'd probably have 4 teams from the Big Ten in the college football playoff if the standings remain the way they are. So who do you have winning this football game? Does Indiana pull off the upset on the road, or does Ohio State continue to prove why they are one of the best teams in the country?
So this is my prediction. Ohio State money line, under 51.5 points, but then also over 33.5, and then Ohio State to score under 31.5 points. That's my prediction. So I can win $27. That's the bet I made. Because I couldn't put on player prop, so I just try to do some like weird
If
bets
you have the
together.
exact same score as me, that fits all the criteria you're talking about. So I guess we'll see what happens.
I'm going to go Ohio State to win this game 27-17.
Nope.
No, 24-17 I'll go with.
Yeah, that's my final score.
I could even see this being like a 21-13 game, like a kind of almost like the Penn State game. I just think that
Right.
Indiana's offense is a little bit better than Penn State, but I think their defense is a little bit worse. So I think it's a little bit higher
Yeah.
scoring.
See,
So I think
if this
Indiana
was in
keeps this game
Indiana,
close. Yeah,
if
I
this
think
was in
Indiana
Indiana,
really keeps this
I
game
think
close.
Indiana
I'm really
could
excited.
win.
I think basically all Indiana has to do in this game is
Keep it close.
hang with Ohio State. Yes, keep it close.
Right.
If
If
keep
they
it
lose
close,
like
they're in the playoffs.
38-7 or something, they're done. It's over.
Yeah, because then it's like, oh, you guys have beaten no one, and your only good team you got blown out. But if this game's
exactly.
24-17, they keep this close, then with only having as long as they win out the rest of the year, they 100% belong in the college football playoffs.
Oh yeah, 110%. I think they do keep it close, but a 24-17 loss to the Buckeyes on the road, it's not something you can really be upset with. They're literally the second best team in the country, in my opinion.
Yeah,
and that's not
at
just
home.
being because they've beaten nobody.
I think Ohio.
It's not like
I
they've
think
beaten
Ohio
nobody.
I think Ohio State's the best team in the country. I understand Oregon should definitely be ranked ahead of them because they beat them right now. But I think in the big,
What are you saying
in
on
the
a
Big Ten
neutral
championship,
site, Ohio State wins?
I think Ohio State was my national championship pick to start the year because they're just loaded at every single position, other than their offensive line's a little worrisome due to injury.
To beat Ohio State in the championship game. So
yeah, I think Ohio State is the best team in the nation. I think they win it all this year, and I've been saying that since the beginning of the season. That defense is nuts. I mean, they have like probably on that defense alone, they probably have 7 or 8 players that will probably, I would say actually probably at least like 8 or 9 players that'll be drafted in the top 3 rounds over the next 2 drafts. Probably at least 3 or 4 drafted in the first.
Yeah,
they're loaded everywhere. That defense is nuts. So I think, and obviously on the offense, you got 2 running backs who could be drafted in the first, that'll be drafted in the first or second round. You have who you could make an argument is the best receiver in the country as a true freshman, and Ryan Smith. Will Howard is a decent quarterback. Like they have weapons there too. Offensive line's a little iffy.
See, if they had Dillon Gabriel, without a question, you know.
Yeah, or if their offensive line was fully healthy, but the Josh Simmons injury is kind of hurting that offensive line because like Josh Simmons and Donovan Jackson are both very good, but their depth isn't there.
Right.
So that's kind of the issue. And yeah, with him getting injured, it's a little worrisome.
We've seen that a lot more these last few years with offensive teams.
Yeah.
Their offensive lines, like look at Georgia this year after Rutledge went down, or Ratledge, pardon. You know, like it's just the lack of depth for these teams. However, I do again have Ohio State winning this football game. As we move into the next one, Arizona State versus BYU, 14 BYU, 21 ranked Arizona State. BYU dropped out of the playoff last week because of the fact that they lost to Kansas. However, technically
they're
not out
still
of the
in because they're leading the Big 12.
Yeah, exactly. They're not technically out because they're still in the playoff race with Colorado, Kansas State, and Arizona State, which means that this game right here, basically the winner of this game, 90% sure will probably get one of those spots in the final game of the season, being the Big 12 championship, and the other one will probably be out of the playoff, especially in Arizona State's case, as they are already 21st in the country. Who do you have winning this one? A battle of true teams that are really close together. I don't think they're necessarily great teams. I just think they're very, very close. Who do you have winning this football game?
I actually have Arizona State winning this game in the battle of the Mormons versus the frat houses. That's basically what this is. BYU has been playing very bad these last couple weeks. They just lost to Kansas. They lost to Kansas, not basketball. This is a basketball. They lost to Kansas's football team. They're like 4-6 on the year. They suck. They barely beat a Utah team that sucks this year, that has a losing record. They had to have some, I'm not going to say fluky flags or anything, but they had to have some flags basically bail them out after they lost the game like 3 times. And then a flag bailed them out to keep the drive alive. And then they won by 1 point. Like BYU has played pretty bad these last 2 weeks. And Arizona State's been playing very good football these last couple weeks. They're the hotter team. So I'm going to go with Arizona State to win this game. We'll go 24-20. 24-17, I guess. I always like that score prediction. It always fits pretty well. So
Yeah, I have
Arizona State's at
BYU.
home. Arizona State's at home. Never mind. I'll go 27-7. Oh, actually, no, I'll go 24-14.
I have to lean with BYU in this game. I have them winning this one 21-20. I think Arizona State keeps this close because they're at home. And yes, you're definitely pooping on shitting. Well, I'll just say shitting. Well, you're shitting on Kansas. Kansas last week beat the Cyclones, Iowa State, 45-36. And the week prior to that, lost 29-27 to Kansas State, who's also right there for a college football playoff spot. So they have not been playing bad at all these last couple weeks. They've been dominating these last few games, and they
Arizona
beat two
State
teams
beat
back
them,
to
though.
back that were ranked teams. True, yes. However, I feel like that's not necessarily a thing about how bad BYU is, or about the
I
fact
just
that
want to
Kansas
shit on
State was
Kansas.
just hitting a good streak. And here's the thing for them. I think BYU does just enough to win this game. Their season's spiraling out of control. They mitigate that with a win here, 21-20. They win by 1 point in this one. A dominating, fun football game for both teams. And I have BYU and the Mormons getting this one done. Moving into the last three games, we'll start Notre Dame versus Army. Notre Dame on the road, number 6 in the country, 18 Army. Who do you got winning this one, Alex?
Notre Dame's going to kick their ass. Just like they kicked Navy's ass, I don't think it's going to be that bad because I think Army is clearly better than Navy, as we've seen how Navy's played these last couple weeks. I mean, getting blown out by Tulane, losing to an unranked team, and getting blown out by Notre Dame. But it's a cool story for Army, how they're undefeated and stuff, but like just the talent gap is just too much. And Notre Dame with Riley Leonard at the helm.
Navy, not Army Navy, but Notre Dame Navy game, I think.
Yeah, Riley Leonard with Notre Dame with Riley Leonard at the helm is just a good team. They're not great. I don't think they really have any chance of winning it all this year, but they're definitely a team that deserves to be in the college football playoffs and I could see them maybe winning a game, but I don't see them getting past that.
Depends.
Like
if they play an SEC team, I don't think they win.
Probably not, but if they play Bama or Georgia, probably not. It really depends on who they get matched up with. But anyways, I think Notre Dame is a good team. I think they take care of business here and win this game. I understand Army they're really good at running the ball and they have a good defense. So I think they're going to be able to control the clock. So I don't see it being like a high scoring game, but I'll go with 27-14 Notre Dame.
Yeah, I have a 31-14 Notre Dame win for much like you had, the clock reasons and stuff like that. I think it's just going to be one of those games where because they control the clock running the football, it's not going to be nearly as high of a scoring game. I still think they score 31, and that just shows me how bad Army is comparatively. I think Army's still a good football team. You know, they're not bad. Fun little swan song story for them this year, you know, being undefeated and all, but you got to play a real team like Notre Dame now, and that fun ends here. You get bent over, and you lose this one big time, 31-14. I think you get dominated for most of this football game. But nonetheless, still a good season from Army. Happy to see them at least doing some good things with their season, as maybe they're unranked next week, potentially after losing this one. Who knows? But moving into the next game, it is Texas A&M, number 15 ranked, taking on Auburn in Auburn. A big game for the Tigers here. They've had a solid season, but now they're playing a true potential contender in Texas A&M, who's like definitely been a lot better than most people expected this year. What do you have being the final score in this one, and who do you have winning this football game?
So I have Texas A&M winning this game, but I could definitely see Auburn keeping this game close. It's in Auburn, which is definitely a big thing. Texas A&M also they're 8-2. They really haven't blown many teams out. They only beat Mississippi State by 10. They got blown out by South Carolina. I guess they dominated New Mexico State, but that doesn't really count. They dominated Missouri. So, but like Arkansas close, even Bowling Green was close. Florida was semi-close, and that was when Florida wasn't playing good. Like they just haven't really blown many teams out. And Auburn, I mean, they've been playing better as of late. They've been keeping games close against good teams. They've won 2 out of their last 3 games, I guess, if that counts for anything. I guess Texas A&M we'll go 27-17, I guess. I think Texas A&M wins this game handily, but not by like a big score or anything.
Yeah, I have them winning 21-10. That offense has kind of been inconsistent, especially in the second half as of late for Texas A&M. So I think that this game's pretty decently close, a little bit lower scoring than most people will probably have. I understand it's a college football game, and we don't see those lower scoring games often, but I think that this is one of them. Two SEC teams going at it. I think that this one's going to be fun to watch, but I think Peyton Thorne's going to be the thorn, if you will, in their side for this game. I don't see him having a very good game against this Texas A&M defense, especially the edge rushers who have looked absolutely phenomenal this season. So with how that defense has been playing this year, I don't know who their defensive coordinator's name is, but he's been talked about to potentially be moved up to the NFL as a coordinator next year if some defensive coordinators like Aaron Glenn potentially get head coaching jobs.
Brian Flores.
Yeah, I don't know if Flores does, just for the simple fact that he's got the baggage right now because of the lawsuit with the NFL. But that's a topic for another day. I do think that it's definitely something to consider, though, for teams. However, I think for this game, it's going to be low scoring, but I have the A&M Aggies getting this one done 21-10, as give me them to win another football game against a decent Auburn team, I'd say. As we move into the final game before we kick it to some basketball, Alabama, the number 7 ranked team in the country, on the road to take on the Oklahoma Sooners, brand new to the SEC this year.
Boomer Sooner is going to get killed.
Yeah. What happens in this one?
Bama by a lot.
Yeah.
31-14. I'd love to see Bama get or Oklahoma get the upset here, but Oklahoma sucks this year. Bama by a lot.
Jackson Arnold.
31-14.
That was not the right move. 31-7. I have Bama winning this football game. I think it's going to be a shit show for Oklahoma, even being at home. I just don't see them competing. Maybe they get a garbage time touchdown and make it what your score is, 31-14. But I think that they just get dominated in all facets of this one. As we move into the NBA, we have the in-season tournament in full effect right now. Group play games are played on Tuesdays and Thursdays from November 12th to December 6th, which currently we are in Tuesdays, Fridays. Sorry, yeah, you're right. Not Thursdays. However, the quarterfinal games will take place on December 11th and 12th. Those games move into the semifinals, which will be in Las Vegas, as well as the finals. The semifinals will be on December 14th, and the final will be on December 17th. Currently, the West Group A, as I read this off here, Houston 1-0, Portland 1-0, Minnesota 1-1, Sacramento 0-1, and Los Angeles Clippers are 0-1. In the West Group B, the Lakers 2-0 sit atop, with the Oklahoma City Thunder, San Antonio Spurs, and Phoenix Suns all tied at 1-1, and then the Utah Jazz at 0-2. And then West Group C, Golden State sits firmly at 1 with a 2-0 start. Dallas, Denver, New Orleans all at 1-1, and then Memphis at 0-2. What a gauntlet that West Group C is, by the way. The Warriors, Mavericks, and Nuggets all in one division. And even the Pelicans are halfway decent. And the Grizzlies are not bad either.
The Pelicans are just insanely injured. I just want to...
What else is new? They're the 49ers of NBA.
Let me just find them real quick. I just want to read off. Where the heck... Why can't I find New Orleans as like a team on here?
While you're doing that, I'm going to go to East Group A. Orlando and New York Knicks are 2-0 at the top. Brooklyn Nets are 1-1 with the Sixers and Hornets at 0-2. In the next division, Group B, Detroit is 2-0. Milwaukee 1-0. Miami 1-1, and then Indiana and Toronto are both winless.
Okay.
Indiana 0-1.
Yeah, I pulled it up.
Toronto 0-2. And then hold on.
This was...
Okay. East Group C, Atlanta's 2-0, Boston 1-1, Cleveland 1-1, Washington 0-1, and lastly, 0-1 in the final spot is Chicago.
Yes, so this was the Pelicans starting lineup against the Cavs a couple days ago. Jeremiah Robinson Earl, Yves Missy, Brandon Boston Jr., Alfred Payton, who was just signed like a couple days ago and hadn't played an NBA game since 2021, and Javonte Green. Their bench included Jamal Cain, Trey Jemison III, Carlo Makovich, and Antonio Reeves. If anyone out there has heard of any of those 4 players named off the bench, please contact me because I want to know ball like you. Because I have never, I think the only people on this team I've even heard of prior to me seeing these names are Yevis Missy, just because I picked him up in fantasy for a game, Alfred Payton, and Javonte Green. I don't think I've heard of any of those because legit, DeJounte Murray, CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, and Zion are all injured.
Damn. That's actually bad. Anyway, for tonight's games,
beating the Warriors at halftime.
Yeah. For tonight's games, a 73-72
Nets. Players are back. Trey Murphy, Daniel Tice, and Brandon Ingram are all healthy, so that's probably why they're beating them. Yeah, because Trey Murphy was also injured for that game too. Yeah. All right, yeah, you can continue. I just wanted to read that.
And the Wizards are beating the Celtics as well.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Tatum's having his worst game of the season so far. It's only 3 for 13. But
the Sixers are up 73-72 over the Brooklyn Nets. They are 1-1 are the Nets, 0-2 are the Sixers. So a win here for them would put them at 3 in the division of East Group A. Celtics Wizards right now, a 68-65 Wizards lead. They lead by 3 points. It's late third quarter. You never know what's going to happen.
68-67. Now, yeah, this Nemus, the Al-Qaeda dude for the Celtics, just made 2 free throws. I like to call him Al-Qaeda because his last name's Qaeda. It's Neemias Qaeda. He's like their backup center right now since Kristaps is out. And he's actually not been off.
Yeah.
But just his last name's Qaeda, so it's fun to call him Al-Qaeda or Al-Qaeda.
Yeah. Right. If Boston wins, they'll tie with the Hawks at first in that division right now.
They do not have the tiebreaker.
Yeah, I know because they lost the game.
But the Hawks still have to play the Cavs. So as long as the Cavs can win there, then it's like a 3-way tie. Yeah, he did. He did indeed. He did indeed.
Yeah. Right now the Hawks are losing as well to the Bulls 33-30 in the second quarter. 35-30, pardon, as the Bulls just made it 2. So the Bulls are doing enough in that game. 35-20 score right now for the Rockets over the Blazers in the West group. I believe.
You mean 37-26? Yes, you just reread the Bulls Hawks score. It's 37-26 Rockets.
37-26?
Yeah. The Rockets are beating the Trailblazers. Your phone that far behind, or you just read off the Bulls Hawks score again?
No, I must have. I don't know. Anyway, the last game here for, I guess, this is 39-27 is the Bucks Pacers score, if that's actually accurate.
Yeah,
39-29.
Yeah.
So
as Pascal Siakam just made a 2-pointer.
Yeah, that's for West
already
Group.
Has 13.
Yeah, if West Group B's winner of this game, if the Bucks win this game, they will be first right now over the Pistons in that division. Even though they're both unbeaten.
As a joke on the radio, we were doing predictions for the NBA Cup, and we decided to meme around, and we said that the Pistons were going to win that group. And they might actually win that group.
Wow.
We were joking because it's the Pistons, but...
Also, the Clippers' new logo throws me off so much.
Oh, yeah, that is... I guess I've never looked into it too much, but yeah, that's a weird logo. I don't like it.
I don't either. But anyway, I guess that's basically it. I don't know if there's anything else you want to add for the NBA.
I guess some of the surprises of the year, the Cavs are 16-1. The Lakers are 10-5. JJ Redick looks like he is the real deal as the coach. Golden State come back. They're 11-3. Everyone thought they were going to kind of fall off. They've been a really deep team so far this year. Curry is statistically having his worst season since he became a superstar, only averaging 23, 5, and 6. But he's still shooting very efficiently. And the emergence, they also have Buddy Hield playing well, Andrew Wiggins playing well, Jonathan Kuminga's off the bench, D'Anthony Melton before he got injured. Then they have a bunch of people at in the 6 to 9 range: Draymond Green, Moses Moody, Trace Jackson Davis, Brandon Podziemski, and they're just playing elite defense with Draymond Green just again being an elite defender, kind of coming out of nowhere as he was kind of slowing down a little bit, but their defense has been elite and they've just been playing complementary basketball. So see if maybe they can make a run. Houston is 11-5. Shout out to them. Some of the other surprises are the demolition of the 76ers. The Joel Embiid fall off needs to be studied. He has either not played or just played awful in the games he has played. He's out again tonight, out again on Sunday. And even when he has played, he's averaging 20 points, 7 rebounds, 3.5 assists, and only 1.5 stocks. Like, not good out of him. The Bucks, they're only 6-9, but they've been playing better as of late. The Jazz are 3-12, awful. Pelicans are 4-12, but I think that's more so due to injury. That's a little surprising. The West is way better again than the East. Sacramento currently has a winning record. They're not even in the play-in, while the Miami Heat are 6-7, but the 5 seed in the East. So yeah, the Sacramento Kings would and the San Antonio Spurs are currently the 12th seed in the West. They would be the 5 seed in the East.
Oh yeah.
That's why apparently I just got a notification earlier that there's talks about getting rid of like the conferences and just the top 16 teams make it. I think you do top 16 and then you just add the 2 play-in, so top 18 really have a chance.
I wish.
And I wish. I think they should keep conferences and divisions just for scheduling reasons, but then seeding it should just be the top 16 plus the 2 play-in games. That's really what it should be.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. So that means the best teams make the playoffs every year instead of you having some dog shit teams squeak in and then get blown out in the first round. It's just not interesting.
And we get cool matchups too. Like you can be East in the finals. Or West,
exactly.
You know?
I think imagine a Boston Celtics. Imagine a Boston Celtics New York Knicks NBA Finals.
Yes.
That would be nuts. That would be nuts though.
Or Nuggets versus Lakers.
Curry. Yeah, or LeBron versus Curry. Yeah, bro, that would be so cool. That would be so cool. Let's think of some other or
Denver versus Dallas.
Detroit Pistons versus Charlotte Hornets.
Die. Just die. What is it for? The first seed in the fucking oh jeez, dude. I think that's another thing that would be so cool if they want to really drive ratings up. I think that's something else they should do is they should play there should be a losers bracket to where whoever misses the playoffs is they're seeded, and basically the first best team that's out of the playoffs gets the 1 seed in this bracket, and whoever wins in the finals gets the number 1 pick.
And then the rest of it's just based on standings. The only thing about that is if you barely maybe say you had a star player get injured halfway through the season, you barely missed the playoffs, and say just hypothetically, what happens if Jason Tatum, this scenario, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown get injured and the Celtics just miss the playoffs and then they get the first pick and they get Cooper Flag?
Oh yeah, no, that's true.
That's over. True. I mean, as a Celtics fan, I would take this season to get them. I would give up on this season because we're winning probably the next 3 or 4 straight. Tatum, Brown, and Cooper Flag.
You know,
I'm busting everywhere.
Yo, I can't. Well, anyway, I think that's going to be it for this episode. Makes sense. Does that work for you? Are we good?
Yeah, let's go Sabres. UPL, you're a GOAT. Shout out to Shohei, Aaron Judge, Tariq Skubal, and Chris Sale. Much deserved. You guys definitely deserve those awards. Nothing shocking there. Yeah, I mean, let's go Sabres tonight and tomorrow against the Ducks and the Sharks. Hopefully we win those games, knowing the Sabres will find a way to at least lose one of them because we are a pathetic organization.
Yeah, either way, we'll see what happens. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of the Sports Lab podcast. This is episode 26. We'll have 27 out for you on Tuesday of next week, most likely, as we get ready for the week ahead. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you all next time on the Sports Lab